The animated version of The Lord of the Rings first aired in 1978 and was an epic fantasy film that was based on the original storyline of the book. The film was all about a group of races that included hobbits, human beings, dwarfs, and wizards who formed a fellowship in order to destroy a magical ring that was made by Sauron, who was the Dark Lord and the main villain in this portrayal. I want us to focus only on the main characters, including some dwarfs and hobbits, discuss who they were in the film, then get to see the faces and hear the voices of the people behind the scenes, some who passed away and a few who are still alive in 2026. One of the main characters was Gandalf, who was a wizard that was dispatched to Middle-earth in order to combat the threat of Sauron. He always sounded very intense and urgent, and always appeared as a desperate messenger of impending doom. The only thing that drove him was his mission in helping to counter the threat of Sauron, and he was also very direct, particularly in his dealings with Bilbo regarding the Cursed Ring. His main role in the film was to act as a wise guide to the people and hobbits of Middle-earth, and it was William Squire who voiced him. He was a Welsh actor who mostly rolled on stage and television, and his career stretched from 1951 until his passing on the 3rd of May, 1989 at the age of 72 years.
I was sent back for a brief time until my task was done, and it is time.
Treebeard was a tree giant character who was the oldest living thing that walked under the sun. He lived in the ancient forest of Fangorn, where he mostly behaved like a normal tree until he was disturbed by anyone who got too close. Just like Gandalf, he was wise due to his immortality, but he was also very slow when it came to moving and making decisions. He initially kept to himself and minded his own business, but he later became very protective of the forest and its creatures after he witnessed Saruman's destruction of trees. He kind of loved having company around, mainly because his long life made him become very lonely and sad. He was voiced by the late John Westbrook, who was an English actor and voice actor. He also voiced Lord Celeborn of Lothlorien in this same show. He sadly passed away on June 16, 1989 at the age of 66 years.
This ye were, was something that has stood here since the...
Samwise Gamgee was a hobbit gardener for most of his life, but one day he left his home in the Shire when his best friend and neighbor called Frodo Baggins was charged with taking on a cursed ring across the land to its destruction. This version of Samwise was seen to be a very annoying and whiny fella who mostly acted as a child and needed to be rescued by Frodo in most of his appearances. He kind of behaved similar to Patrick Star from SpongeBob, and he did not have the capability of thinking and making decisions without someone's help. He was devoted to help Frodo in his journey, but I think Frodo would have been far much better without Samwise in the picture. His voice was from Michael Scholes, who is an American voice actor that also appeared in Sweeney of 1978 and Rumpole of the Bailey in the same year.
Oh no, sir! Oh, don't let him hurt me, sir! Don't let him turn me into anything unnatural! Why would...
Aragorn was the 16th and the last chieftain of the Dúnedain of the North. He was a great ranger and warrior, and was also a rugged wanderer who became very loyal in protecting the hobbits and guiding them through dangerous situations. He was the rightful heir to the throne of Gondor, and was always focused on the task at hand, which was fighting against the forces of darkness that was taking over Middle-earth. He was voiced by John Hurt, who was an English actor that was regarded as one of the finest actors of his generation. He will also be remembered for playing the role of Garrick Ollivander in the Harry Potter films from 2001 to 2011. His time came to an end on January 25, 2017 at the age of 77. His cause of demise was due to complications with pancreatic cancer.
After your performance tonight, it won't matter what you call yourself. The Black Riders will know who...
The main boy was Frodo Baggins, who was the young hobbit that was tasked with taking Sauron's ring to Mount Doom to destroy it. He inherited the One Ring from his uncle Bilbo Baggins, and he formed a fellowship with guys like Gandalf, Aragorn, Boromir, Legolas, Gimli, Merry, Pippin, and Samwise Gamgee. In this adaptation, Frodo was so overwhelmed with his mission, and this left him feeling very fearful and anxious throughout the journey. He was traumatized by the ring's influence, and it made him grow increasingly paranoid and distant, especially as they got closer to Mordor. He was also not shown to be as outgoing and cheerful as his fellow hobbits, and this was mainly because of the physical and mental exhaustion of the idea that he was the one responsible for destroying the ring before it was too late. He was voiced by Christopher Guard, who is an English actor and musician. He also played the role of Jim Hawkins in Return to Treasure Island of 1986. Legolas was a Sindar elf who joined the Fellowship. He was the Prince of Mirkwood, who was an expert messenger and a master archer. With his keen eyesight and sensitive hearing, he became an excellent bowman and a great help to Frodo in his journey. He acted as a guardian to the hobbits and was also very mystical and different when compared to the live-action character. It was Anthony Daniels who voiced him. He is an English actor and mime artist who played the role of C-3PO in the Star Wars franchise.
They were here, no doubt of it. But where they went?
Theoden was the 17th king of Rohan and last of the second line of the royal house of Yorl. In his first appearances, he was under a spell that was cast by Saruman and enforced by Grima Wormtongue. This spell left him in a very useless state, and his kingdomship started falling off due to the lack of a stable ruler. He was also an old king who was suffering from aging, and Saruman took advantage of his kingdom through the king's weakness. After Gandalf freed him from this vegetative state, he broke free and regained his strength in becoming a leader and warrior. This old king was voiced by the late Philip Stone, who was an English actor. You might remember him in Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, where he played the role of Captain Philip Blumbert. He passed away on June 15, 2003 from natural causes. He was just 79 years old. And last but not least, we have the beautiful Galadriel, who was the Noldrin lady of the woods of Lothlorien. Unlike her live-action portrayals, this version of Galadriel was seen as hauntingly alien and an ancient being that was tempted by the ring, and the film showed her potential to become a dark queen in the continuation of the stories. She spoke in a dreamy and echo-laden voice, and also appeared as a ghostly figure that glowed in the dark. She had the power to see the past, present, and future, and was also the ruler of Lothlorien, who focused more on testing the Fellowship and also became an iconic figure in her role of resisting Sauron. She was voiced by Annette Crosbie, who is a Scottish actress that mostly played sitcom characters in her earlier years. One of her greatest roles was as Margaret Meldrew in the sitcom known as One Foot in the Grave from 1990 to 2000.
Those things that were, and things that are, and things that yet may be.